Hey guys, Dave and Len here. Welcome to Wargame Chat. We went to Little Wars. What was that? Was that last weekend or the weekend before? The weekend. 2 weeks ago. As always, it was awesome. This time I didn't have a dealer booth. I just went and played games. I played 6 games, I believe it was. First game I played was Escape the Titanica. This guy had these 15mm science fiction figures, and he made basically a space liner. The thing was huge. It was like the size of this table. And Escape the Titanica, you're trying to find your way off the ship, but you also have missions you have to run and stuff. And some of the missions have you fighting the other players and stuff, or you might rescue or not rescue, more like break a prisoner out of jail and stuff like that. And at the end, you got to get it on the lifeboat before the ship blows up. That was my first game. What was your first game?
Okay, I missed my first game because it was Operation Sea Lion, and it's when I came in, I found that all the spots were taken, and it was like one of these where it's like twice the size of this room, and there's a dozen people per side, and you usually sit around for an hour waiting your turn because there's so much the other side has to do. Instead, I listened to an introduction. There's a game system called Threadheads. It's armored combat in World War II, and it's based on John Boyd's OODA cycle. And actually, I was impressed enough, even though I didn't play it, that when they publish it, I'm going to get a copy. So, that was my first game on Friday night.
My first game, actually, it was Escape the Titanica, like I said, but however, I had made a mistake. I was actually supposed to play Terminator Civil War, but I looked at the wrong ticket or something and went to the wrong game, and halfway through the game I realized I was at the wrong game, but I was like, yeah, no one's noticed that I'm not supposed to be here, so I'll just keep playing. But the next game I played was, that was on Friday. That was Pirates in West Africa. This was really fun. This was like a miniatures war game which would be suitable for the entire family. Essentially, each group of people has pirates, and you need to move around the board, and random things are happening to you, like you're being attacked by natives and stuff, and you're trying to find treasure, and whoever brings back the most treasure will be the leader of the pirates. That was a ton of fun. For a family-oriented miniatures game, I think that you couldn't ask for more than that. That was really good. What was your next one?
Okay, it was a musket and pike game. I'm not sure what the rule system was. It might have been homemade. And I had the right wing. I played against a friend of mine who had occasionally had to walk away because he was on the headphones, and he's in a meeting at work. He was goofing off. And when we started it, I played with a guy and his wife. And we looked at our left wing and said, boy, we're going to get smashed there. So we had plans on how we were going to redeploy once the left wing was destroyed. And it ended up that most of the game, she managed to hold back. And until the last turn, they managed to have a breakthrough. But she retreated enough to at least be a road bump. But on my side, I slowly and carefully advanced. I had Swiss pikemen. With my light troops, I was blasting away his Landskrik, and he had 3 formations. I destroyed 2 of them, and I was going to advance on the 3rd one, because at a certain point he retreated. He got scared out of his mind. Oh, we both had artillery, and we both ran out of ammunition. And but the game ended before I could start my advance.
Gotcha. Next one I played was on Saturday. That was Siege of Carthage, 146 BC. This guy had a great setup with Carthage, the city setup. It was, what scale was that? I think it was 6mm. So he actually had a pretty big city for 6mm. It looked really good and stuff. He had siege engines. You had battering rams, you had ladders, all sorts of stuff. The game was a lot of fun, but it seemed like it was geared towards the Carthaginians winning, which was no fault of the game master. The fault would be with the rules that he used. I can't remember Cannibal something is the rules. It's a really simple Ancients rule set, and I didn't work that well for the siege, but it was still a lot of fun. Basically, what would happen when you finally get a Roman unit over the wall or something, he's being attacked by 3 other units and stuff, and just gets thrown right out of the city. So the Romans took a beating. I'd say probably half the Roman units got killed, but if the game would have went on long enough, they would have eventually won, but it was a real grinder. But overall, I think the guy's setup in the scenario was great. It's just the rule set he used I'm not a fan of. What was your next?
Okay, it's a battle between the Russians and the Polish in 1790 or something. That's his Cusco's rebellion, and the Russians didn't really win so much as Suvorov won it. He's Russia's greatest general. And he used the black powder rules, like this. And it was a nice setup. I had the Russian right wing, and I basically held their left wing to keep them from reinforcing the center. The center is where all the important terrain was, the ones that you had to win to win the game. I think at the end we ruled that the Russians would eventually get the crossroads and secure the bridge. However, enough of the Polish would be able to retreat and fight again. So
cool. All right, next stuff I played is quite a few Memoir 44 games. My friend Harlow was there, and he had this huge scenario set up for Memoir 44 with 8 players. I think one game we played was like with 4, and one was with, I think one was with 6 or 8, where 2 of the players were kind of just the guy who handed out the cards to the other people on the team and stuff. But Memoir 44 is always fun. When you have a big group of people like that, it's even more fun. And the good thing is, most of the people who played had at least played the game once before in their lifetime. I only get to play Memoir 44 like once every 2 years or something, so each time I play it, I kind of got to get back up to speed on the rules, but I get up to speed pretty quick.
Okay, next one, I'm trying to remember if this was Friday night or Saturday afternoon. Okay, yeah, this is Saturday afternoon. It was a Napoleonic skirmish game, homemade rules. Actually, I played this guy's system before, so yeah, I knew what I was doing. The situation was the French are holding on to the Spanish king, and the British were coming to rescue him or kidnap him, I forget. Anyway, I had a unit of light troops and a unit of regular French. And I was facing off against Richard Sharp and his chosen men. And in the first turn, I killed Rifleman Harris, and which really pissed a lot of people off because the actor who played Rifleman Harris was at HistoriCon a few times. So they wouldn't let me down on that. And I managed to pull the units back into like cover, and then I actually routed Sharp's rifles. Yeah, and by the time they came back, and I think at the end, because we had the British were in the house, but they were fighting and taking more casualties. I think at the end they declared that the French barely won. So, because they probably, it'd be one of these things where you're down to the last unit if we had continued. So, but I killed Rifleman Harris.
Last game I played that was on Sunday was the Artifact. It used the same setup as Escape the Titanica, except it was just a different scenario. Scenario was basically, you had about 8 players there. Each player had 2 squads, and you had missions just like in Escape the Titanica, but the overall mission was to get the artifact and get it off the ship. Yeah. And there was a lot of aliens on the ship that were kind of like the aliens from the movie. And it was a lot of fun fighting those and stuff. I remember I got into a firing line and blew away a whole bunch of them and stuff. But that was a good game, too. What was your last game?
Well, actually, I had one game before.
Oh, okay.
A knuckle duster game. Basically, I was commanding some cavalry troops, and basically he used every character on the F Troop television series. And I had Corporal Agar and 3 guys. Now, Corporal Agar, you had a system where if you shot, say like long range, you had to roll 8 or greater. And usually with 10-sider, but Corporal Agar had a 12-sider. And also he used a 12-sider in melee. So we had one turn in which 2 of the Indians charged them. First one, we rolled the dice, I killed the Indians. Second guy charged, I killed them. Okay. A little bit later, Agar mobilizes, uses first impulse to move to a different position, and then he shoots somebody at long range. Oh, he was legendary. And I thought, boy, we're going to bump off the rest of the Indians. But next turn, they first knocked off one guy, then another guy, and even Corporal Agar. Well, when you're fighting 3 guys at once, it eventually wears you down. So, and I played in the space game with Dave, and one of the guys I posed was played in this one, and he remembers how legendary Corporal Agar had, and I'm going a few times, I wish he was here, I needed him, because my space pirates got blasted. I did pretty good, because they're pirates, they can find things real fast, and they can move fast. Unfortunately, I bumped off a few monsters, but then the Space Marines got in my flank and I was done.
Cool.
So
looks like you picked up some stuff there too at Little Wars.
Okay, these are some of the games. The Battle of Little Bighorn. I played their companion game, the first Battle of Adobe Walls.
Yeah, I think I did a first look video of that. I think you let me borrow it.
Yeah. So one day I'm going to try that.
This isn't bad. They only charge you $25 for this.
Yeah,
that's not bad for a boxed
and
war
that's
game.
Like out of print, and you can't get it from Legion Games anymore.
Yeah, it was Blue Panther selling them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Solitaire Caesar I bought from him, I paid $30 for, and that wasn't even in the box. So $25 for that's really good.
Yeah. This one is NATO Air Commander. I'm not sure how that is.
Yeah, we'll have to try. After you figure out how to play this, let me try it. We'll do a review of this. I've wondered about this game for a while.
And this is Plan 1919. World War I goes on for another year.
Interesting.
And I got this stuff from
Nat Ziegler.
Now, he tends to translate stuff and finds old stuff from the 19th century, so he's a exotic taste. Like, you have to be a person who wants to read the adventures of a Napoleonic soldier in the Middle East.
Actually, there's probably more people than you think who would want to read that. I mean, anyone who's basically into the Napoleonic War and is into that theater would definitely want to read it.
I got one about one guy who was a soldier in Maximilian's war in Mexico in the 1860s. And this is a 3-volume set, The History of the Cavalry from the earliest times to the Franco-Prussian War, because he wrote it in the 1890s. So, and he also had other books, The Banana Wars. I've been looking for this one, so I found it. And he probably has some negative things about Americans. And this one, The Forgotten Soldier by Guy Segier. This is, I read this in high school. It's about the only thing you could read about the Russian front in those days.
Really?
Yeah.
There wasn't that many books in those days?
Not that many books, yes. There's some people who are saying that they think part of the book is made up, and it's hard to verify. You know, most of the people who might have witnessed it had passed on, either in the war or afterwards.
There's so many interesting characters in the military, though. Anytime I hear something that's completely off the wall about any branch of the service, I don't necessarily think it's false at first. I mean, because I met some interesting people, shall we say, when I was in the military. Some crazy people, actually.
And in case people are wondering, they're reprinting Macho Woman with Guns, a legendary role-playing game system. It's kind of a satire, role-playing games and adventure one.
Yeah, I've seen the
now
miniatures.
Now they have miniatures.
No, they've had the miniatures for a while, actually. I think they've had those for a really long time. Because I've been seeing them on eBay quite a bit over the years.
The original publishers of that had a booklet where you could roll up names for your role-playing game. Because I bought it originally because I was running a Vietnam War air combat campaign, and I needed the names, Vietnamese names. I mean, I couldn't tell them apart from Chinese or Japanese, and the thing helped. And also you can have, they provide you with like Romanian names, great for your vampires. And also, you know, Japanese names, Taiwan names, Indian names, whatever. And also they have, the same people got Luftwaffe 1946 miniatures.
I assume that's What If miniatures.
Yeah. A lot of it is plain World War II stuff, but they could throw, you know, B-49 Flying Wing or and a few other stuff, or little used ones like an F-89 Scorpion. And things like that. They may rival I-90 for... I didn't see them there because I didn't notice this until last day. So, and they have also a bunch of aircraft.
Wow.
So,
but how'd you like Little Wars overall? I thought it was the best one ever.
Oh, really? Okay. It's like we had complaints about the food service.
Well, I'm not judging them by the food. I'm just judging by the quality of the games that I played. Every game I played there was high quality. So I mean that you can't ask for any more than that in the convention. So.
Well, I complain at times that, you know, like the first game I should have been in was like this 12-foot long table with lots of thousands of miniatures, about a dozen people per side, and people just, you know, just the convention, they get extravagant. But nothing I can do. I mean, that's what you want. And so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so did I. Like I said, I thought this was the best Little Wars ever. Actually, the most fun I've ever had at a war game convention I had at this Little Wars, so that tells you something. So I'll definitely be there next year. Actually, I've been going to Little Wars every year for 25 years straight, and before that, I had gone every few years.
Oh yeah, because I was about to say, you probably enjoyed it because you didn't have to sell anything.
I remember, I wonder if Little Wars, there was a convention called Milwaukee, which was halfway between Chicago and Milwaukee, and I wonder if that's a precursor to Little Wars or not.
I know there was something in about 1980, because there, it
would have been in the 1980s, would have been Milwaukee.
Okay, I'm not sure if this is Little Wars or like, I think we had something like a Chicago, official Chicago convention, because there was one, because on the way to this hotel we passed by the convention center for that. Because I remember, I think I even ran my wilderness adventure campaign. And I think that that was one example I told people about. In those days, the places are crowded. And this is one where around 4 o'clock, they're over the intercom saying, "Guys, we got to be out by 5. Finish it up right now." I repeat, finish up right now. Because nowadays, it seems like, you know, once you get past, on Sundays, even though it's open to 4 or 5 o'clock, past 1 o'clock, everybody's packing up and leaving. Of course, nowadays we all have jobs, so we have to get back. Yeah. In those days, you could probably skip classes the next day.
Cool. All right, that's all we got, guys. You have a good one.